Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna, all glories to Guru and Gauranga, all glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to assembled devotees. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Thank you so much, Mataji. So we start with Mangalacharan. ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनाशलाकय चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरु श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरुन् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणा रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवम् साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान सह गणा ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धु जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कान्ता राधाकान्ता नमोऽस्तुते तप्तकाञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिन्निति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषशून्यवादी पाश्चात्यादेशतारिणे नामचिन्तामणि कृष्णश्चैतन्य रसविग्रह पूर्णशुद्धो नित्यमुक्तो अभिन्नत्वां नाम नामिनो जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधार श्रीवात्सादिकार भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत् निगमकल्पतरोर्गलितं फलं शुकमुखादमृताद्रवसंयुतं पिबत भागवतं रसमालयं मुहुरहो रसिका भुवि भावुकाः नष्टप्रायेष्व भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवती नैष्टिकी Srila Sanatana Goswami glorified Srimad Bhagavatam सर्वशास्त्राभिपीयूष सर्ववेदैकसत्फला सर्वसिद्धान्तरत्नाद्या सर्वलोकैकदिक्प्रदा सर्वभागवता प्राणा श्रीमद्भागवता प्रभु कलिद्वन्द्वोदित्तदित्या श्रीकृष्ण परिवर्तिता परमानन्दपाठाय प्रेमवर्षि ते सर्वदा सर्वसेव्याय श्रीकृष्णाय नमोऽस्तु मे मदेकबन्धु मत्सङ्गिन् मद्गुरु मन्महादन मन्निष्ठारक मद्भाग्या मदानन्द नमोऽस्तु ते असाधु साधु तादायिन्नति नीचोचताकरा हानमुञ्चा कदाचिन्मां प्रेम नृत्कण्ठयो स्फुर हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. Welcome all to the morning session of Srimad Bhagavatam. I offer my respectful obeisances to my Guru Maharaj, Srila Prabhupada, and to all the assembled devotees over here. Bless me so that I speak the right words in the right mode. As I always say that everybody has their own capacity. A hen cannot fly, but a eagle can fly, soar high up in the sky. So similarly to my capacity and to my understanding, what I have read, I will try to relay it to you. Anything good, it is because of the blessings of my Guru. If any mistakes, please forgive me and correct me. Let us have this as an interactive session wherein we all are helping each other so that we progress in this Krishna consciousness. I'll share my screen. Yeah. So we are in the fourth canto, the creation of the fourth order, chapter 29, having many verses, right? So it is a talk between Narada Muni and King Prachinabari. So we understand that how Prachinabari, after his sons Prachetas, they were realized and they went for self-realization. He engaged himself in various ritualistic activities and sacrifice, seeing that though he is a good devotee, but seeing his too much involvement in material activities, Narad Muni goes and tells him to correct him. He tells a allegorical story. He tells him the story of who was that king?
Prachina Barisa.
Puranjan.
No,
King
no, no.
Puranjana.
King
Puranjan.
Puranjana. Yeah. So exactly what does King Puranjana represent?
Living entity.
Soul. Jiva.
The embodied
The
soul.
Jiva.
Embodied soul.
The soul, right? It is the soul. The what do you call Puranjana. Puranjana represents the soul, right? And then Puranjana was put into a city of 9 gates. So what are they? Right? He, in search of a good place, he wanders and then he meets a woman. And the woman, she takes him to a city of 9 gates. So who is that woman? Who is that city? Or what is that city of gate that represents?
Body, Mataji, body.
Yes,
Two
body
eyes,
represents.
and the woman is intelligence. Mother.
I cannot hear Mataji. Hare Krishna. So the
Holes in
body
the body,
represents,
Mataji.
Nine
yeah,
gates are
it
the body,
represents the 9 gates, right?
and the
And
woman is
Puranjini, she is the
intelligence.
intelligence.
Material intelligence.
Yeah, it is a material intelligence. Puranjani is a material intelligence who takes him, so why does he take birth again as a woman?
He was
Because
meditating
while
on his
dying,
wife.
that was
At the time of death, he was thinking of
It
her.
was thinking about the
Yeah, he was very
wife.
attached to his wife. So at the time of birth, he was thinking about him, and thus he takes birth again as a woman. So here we see that he is telling this allegorical story to Prachina Bari to get him back to the path of self-realization. Right. So after that, after telling the story, he correlates everything and explains to him. So thus we have reached the seven. Today I will be covering the 74, 75, and 76. Yeah, 74, 75, 76, and 77. We'll cover 4 verses. So before we go into these 4 verses, I thought I'll just give you a gist, because here it is talking about the senses, the sense organs, the sense objects. Right. So just to understand, because we have the tendency to forget, even me, no, to come to this class prepared, even I had to go through. So I thought, why not we all share with each other and understand what is pradhana, how the mahatattva comes into, what is the characteristics of the pradhana. So we understand that pradhana, it is there, it is eternal, but it is avyakta, it is not manifested. And what are the constituents of the pradhana? It is all the 3 modes of material nature. It is the cause. From there it is the cause, and the effect is the universe, the mahatattva. So the character, so we see that from this pradhana comes out the 5 gross elements, 5 tanmatras, the sense object, the 10 senses, and the 4 antakarnas, mind, intelligence, false ego, and the chitta, right? These are the 24 elements that comes out, but they are all in the unmanifested form. Then comes it gets this unmanifested from pradhana, which is the aggregate of the 3 modes of nature. Into that the Lord glances with time and Svabhava and the jivas. When it is impregnated, there is an agitation that takes place, and this that which was unmanifested, that becomes manifest, and that manifested the part is called as Mahatattva, right? And from there, so the consciousness of that, yeah, this is Mahatattva, that is the chitta potency. The chitta potency arises, and then comes the ahankara, right? The ahankara also, there are 3 types of ahankara. So that ahankara in mode of goodness, ahankara in mode of rajas, ahankara in mode of tamas. So because of this agitation and the interaction between the 3 moods, from ahankara with the mode of goodness comes the mind. And then from the rajas comes the intelligence, and then from the rajas also comes the working senses and the knowledge acquiring senses. And from the tamas, arises the tanmatras and the sense object, the what do you call, the earth, water, elements. Okay? The elements and the tanmatras, it comes. So this is how the raw materials that is required, it is created or it happens. Okay, so this is the understanding. So going forward, is this okay? Hare
Yes,
Krishna.
Mataji.
Yes, Mataji.
Yes,
Hare
Mataji.
Krishna, Mataji. Pranams, Mataji. Ahankara on the level of mind and on the level of intelligence. Can you please elaborate, Mataji? Hare Krishna.
Yeah, this is at the level of intelligence. These are just the creations, Mataji. Ahankara, for why it is called false ego? Because it is for the material world, right? Here we are identifying with the body. So the interaction that happens for the raw materials to happen is ahankara because our mind is actually pure, right? But because it comes in this conditioned form, that's why it said that when the mind is trained, it is our friend. But when the mind is not trained, it becomes our worst enemy. So ahankara, the false ego in sattva, it combines and it gives rise. That is the mind. That is the characteristic is the reflections. It gives rise to the desires. And then I took it from the 3rd canto, which we have already covered. I think the 26th verse of 17th chapter, or the 26th chapter, 17th verse, somewhere like that it is.
Okay, Mataji.
Okay. So, and then from false ego comes our intelligence, senses, and the tanmatras. Okay, Mataji?
Krishna Mataji. Can you
Yes,
please show the
Mataji, I'll go.
first page, Mataji, the very first page?
This,
Okay, thank you, Mataji.
I'll move ahead, Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Yes, Mataji. Thank you so much, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
So we come to the 74th verse. Primarily, it speaks about the subtle body, right? And then secondary, the gross body. So it says that evam panchavidam lingam trivrachhodasha vistritam esha chetanaya yukto jiva iti abhidiyate. Evam panchavidam lingam त्रिवृक्षोडश विस्तृतम् एष चेतनया युक्तो जीव इति अभिधीयते. Anyone, Mataji, can take up the verse.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Evam panlingam trivritso vistrutam isha chetanaya yukto jiva iti abhidhiyate.
Yes, Mataji. Now the Translation.
Gopika Mataji, Hare Krishna. You can take the translation. Mataji, you want us to read the verse below? The purport, I mean?
Yeah.
Purport also. Okay, Rohini Mataji, you can read the purport. Gopika Mataji, the translation, Hare Krishna.
Yes, Hare Krishna Mataji. The 5 sense objects, the 5 sense organs, the 5 knowledge acquiring senses are the mind and the 16 material expansions. These combine the living entity and are influenced by 3 modes of material nature. Thus, the existence of the conditioned soul are understood. Thank you, Mataji.
Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Lord Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita 15.7, Mamayvamsho jivaloke jiva bhuta sanatanaha manashasthani indriyani prakritisthani karshati. The living entities in this conditioned world are my eternal fragmental parts. Due to conditioned life, they are struggling very hard with the 6 senses, which include the mind. That struggles hard within material nature. The total material existence is first agitated by the 3 modes of material nature, and these become the living conditions of the living entity. Thus, the subtle and the gross bodies develop, and ingredients are earth, water, fire, air, sky, and so on. According to Sri Madhvacharya, when consciousness, the living force in the heart, is agitated by the 3 modes of material nature, then the subtle body of the living entity, consisting of the mind, the sense objects, the 5 senses that acquire knowledge, and the 5 senses for acting in the material condition, become possible. Hare Krishna. This is what you said in the first thing, no, Mataji, the Tattva and Pradhanman.
This is how Narad Muni is explaining to Prachina Bari. So even for us, we went through all the creation just to understand our position. Right? So here it is said that there are 16 material expansions, right? Consisting of the 5 sense objects, 5 knowledge acquiring, then the working senses and the mind. When these combine with the living entity and influenced by the 3 modes of material nature, the conditioned soul is formed, right? First the subtle and then the gross. So the jiva is eternal. Jiva is eternal. That is Mamai Vamsha Jiva Loke. That is what Prabhupada is explaining. But when this the sensor, the modes get agitated, that time the subtle and the gross bodies develop, binding the soul to the material existence. Otherwise, our soul is pure. It is a part and parcel of the Supreme Lord. So this combination of the soul and the material elements is called Jiva Bhuta, and the struggling living entity. So this refers primarily to the subtle body, which includes where it includes the basis of the gross body. So it is like that the 16 elements, the 5 sense objects, right? Which are the sound, right? Which are the 5 sense objects? Hare Krishna.
Sound,
Krishna.
sight, voice.
Sound is voice, right?
Voice.
For the skin, it is the touch. For the eyes, it is the form. For the nose, it is the smell. For the tongue, it is the taste. Right? So these are the sense object. Knowledge acquiring. How do we acquire that knowledge of that is a sound, that is it is a smell. So we have the knowledge acquiring senses, right? That is our ears, the skin, the nose. Okay. And then the working senses, the hands, the legs, the genital, the anus, right? The speech. Then is the mind. So these belong to a subtle mechanism of experience and action, and not physical elements like earth, water, fire. Understood? So that is what the explanation is given. So now, what does the 3 modes of material nature does? It acts on the subtle body and they shape the desire, the maturity, the decision making, and the future karmic results. This is what happens. So Jiva Bhuta, if Bhagavad Gita says that Mamai Vamsha Jiva Loke, that we are the part and parcel of the Supreme Lord. We are pure, but conditioned by this material nature. how this condition happens through the subtle body, it happens, right? So here it is at the primary level, it is describing about the subtle body with contact with mind, senses, and sense object, influence of sattva, rajas, and tamas, and formation of a conditioned consciousness, ahankara. So, and thus, because of this desires, and according to our desire, we develop the gross body. That is, because of this subtle conditioning, we get, according to our reaction, we get the gross body. To a simple analogy is a seed, right? A seed has got that blue everything of a tree, right? It has all the constituent that is required, and that which fructifies the gross is the tree, and the seed with everything that we can understand it as a subtle body. So this is what, and then Prabhupada is telling that this is how we condition the desire which we carry within us, that will decide our next body. So that is why that desire, we have come into this consciousness to control our desire. Once we control our desire, our conditioning gets, our conditioning to the material aspect gets reduced, right? So, to establish that soul is not material, but it becomes entangled because of its association to the three modes. So, the emphasis is that life comes from misidentification with mind and senses. 1 minute. So, to understand that the material, yes, yes, Mataji, it is the three modes. In that three modes, we react. That is why they say, do activities so that we are in the mode of goodness. Right? When we are, because we have to transcend these three modes and go up. Right? So when we are in the mode of goodness, we can understand, we can perceive things. But we are in the mode of passion and tamas, we cannot understand. There are so many people who come, but there are some who can take up the message, but there are some who does not take up the message. Right? So to show the understanding that material elements is essential for detachment and liberation, you have to use them in Krishna consciousness. Double everything for the service of Krishna, and that will help us to transcend. So, to guide the devotees towards Krishna consciousness, where the same senses are purified and engaged in the Lord service. So, the Prabhupada's intent is that here we see that when Narad Muni is explaining to Prachina Bari the how this about the subtle and the material body, because he was too much engaged in material activities. In one line, if we have to say that the soul is pure, but when fixed with mind and senses under the modes of material nature, it becomes a struggling condition for the jiva. Liberation begins when this misunderstanding is removed and when we adopt Krishna consciousness. So how do we do that practically? What do you feel? Now we understood that how the subtle body, how we get a gross body, the desires are there, and this desire is carried forward, and thus according to that desire we get a material body. So how do we save ourselves from this transmigration?
By
Hare
doing
Krishna.
devotional service, Mataji, and surrendering to the Guru and devotees.
Yeah, following the instructions of the Guru. Then following the instructions of the Guru, what do we do?
Engage in the devotional service, 16 rounds of chanting, Mataji.
We follow Guru's
The
instructions.
association with the devotees like ICF is arranging, right? Where we are Shravanam, some Siddhir Haritoshanam. This is where the Lord lies, where everybody sits together and glorifies about Him, His creation, His manifestation, and the understanding that everything is temporary. Only the service to the Lord is having the permanent effect. Neha Bikrama Nasavasti. There is nothing, little bit of devotional service you do, the time you spend, there is no waste. It doesn't go waste. Rather than in various activities we indulge, we waste our time, isn't it? Correct.
Mataji, to practically do is very difficult, Mataji, actually.
Not
Though
difficult,
we,
Mataji. Just follow, do your sadhana. what is being prescribed.
Yes, Mataji.
Do it. We are in line with that.
And
We
also
keep
the
saying,
instruction, Mataji. Krishna
yeah,
says, no, Mataji. Manmana bhava madbhakta madhyajimam
yes, that
namaskuru.
is, yeah.
So that is very
It
important.
is Krishna also say one verse before that verse in the 18th chapter. Krishna says to Arjuna that this is very confidential, I'm telling you. And then he says, see, this is how you have to do. Manmana bhava madbhakto madhyaji mam namaskaru. Mam evashasya kavatya. That you will come to me definitely. Fix your mind unto me, worship me, do everything as a service to me. Only do that. Dovetail everything, all your activities, what you're doing, do it, dovetail it with Krishna. So when you're dovetailing with Krishna, you will ask yourself, is this thing which Krishna will accept? So which is not, you will not do it, isn't it? And this helps us to reduce our habit. We offer everything to Krishna. And thus the main thing is we come to know what is our position. We are the servant of the Lord. Jiviri Surupe Hai, Krishnera
Krishna.
Nityada. We are the servant of the Lord and we have to do service to the Lord and not service to ourselves, our body, our relative. Yes, we have our responsibility towards them is getting them to Krishna consciousness. With that, we go on to the 75th verse. Somebody can read.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Sudha Mataji can read the verse, Barnani Mataji translation, and Meenakshi Mataji the purport. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji pronouns. अनेन पुरुषो देहान् उपादत्ते विमुच्यते हर्षं शोकं भयं दुःखं सुखं चानेन विन्दति. Hare Krishna.
Yes, Hare Krishna. The
Thank you, Mataji.
translation.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Mataji. Dandavat pranams. Translation by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Jai Srila Prabhupada. By the virtue of the processes of subtle body, the living entity develops and gives up gross bodies. This is known as the transmigration of the soul. The soul becomes subjected to different types of so-called enjoyment, lamentation, fear, happiness, and unhappiness. Hare Krishna, Mataji. Dandavat pranams.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat
Hare
Pranam.
Krishna.
Purport by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. According to this explanation, one can clearly understand that originally the living entity was as good as the Supreme Personality of Godhead in his pure spiritual existence. However, when the mind becomes polluted by desires for sense gratification in the material world, the living entity drops into the material conditions as explained in this verse. Thus, he begins his material existence, which means that he transmigrates from one body to another and becomes more and more entangled in material existence. The process of Krishna consciousness, by which one always thinks of Krishna, is the transcendental process by which one can revert to his original spiritual existence. Devotional service means always thinking of Krishna. Manmana bhava madbhakto madhyajimam namaskuru mam eva shyashi satyam the pratijane priyosi
You
me.
see.
Yeah. Always think of me and become my devotee. Worship me and offer your homage unto this because you are my very dear friend. Bhagavad Gita 18.5. One should always engage in the Lord's devotional service. As recommended in the Archana Marga, one should worship the deity in the temple and constantly offer. These processes are recommended to one who actually wants to become free from material entanglement.
Hare Krishna. There is somebody who
Modern
is.
psychologists can study the actions of the
Hare Krishna. Mataji, 1 minute. Because there are two voices coming from.
Mataji, I muted them. Hare Krishna. Sorry, Mataji.
Okay. Sorry. Yes, Mataji, continue. Yeah, Mataji, continue. Mataji was reading. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Meenakshi Mataji. Mataji, I'm
Yes,
sorry, my
Mataji.
mic was on. Meenakshi Mataji, continue. Mataji is saying.
Modern psychologists can study the actions of the mind, thinking, feeling, and willing, but they are unable to go deep into the matter. This is due to their lack of knowledge and to their not being associated with a liberated acharya. As stated in Bhagavad Gita 4.2, Evam parampara praptam imam rajarshayo viduhu shakale neha mahata yogo nashta parantapa. This supreme science was thus received through the chain of disciplic succession, and the saintly kings understood it in that way. But in course of time, the succession was broken, and therefore the science as it appears to be lost. Guided by so-called psychologists and philosophers, people in the modern age do not know of the activities of the subtle body and thus cannot understand what is meant by the transmigration of the soul. In these matters, we have to take the authorized statements of Bhagavad Gita 2.13. Dehinosminyata dehe kaumaram yavvanam jara tata dehantara praptir dhiras tatra na muhyati. As the embodied soul continually passes in this body from boyhood to youth to old age, the soul similarly passes into another body at death. The self realized soul is not bewildered by such a change. Unless all human society understands this important verse in Bhagavad Gita, civilization will advance in ignorance, not in knowledge. Hare Krishna Mataji. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. So we see that how the subtle body carries the soul from one gross body to the another body. This is called transmigration. Because of this process, the soul experiences happiness, distress, fear, lamentation, and enjoyment in different bodies. Okay, according to your desire. Originally, soul is pure, eternal, and qualitatively one with the Lord, not quantitative. It is qualitatively one with the Lord. But because we desired, we wanted to lord over, that is why we were put into this material world. But there was a process also to go back, right? There is always a return train ticket also. So Krishna consciousness means specifically always remembering. The remembrance of Krishna frees the soul from that attachment. Devotional service like Archana Vigra. These are the process which has been given by Srila Prabhupada to us. So I always say that just follow that process. Don't think about anything. We are automatically on the track, offering obeisance to the Guru. So, but then they say, in this verse, it talks about the modern psychology. They cannot explain transmigration because they are speculative. They do not take the advice of any acharyas. There is no disciplic. So it is always said that we should have a disciplic succession, right? And it is said that why it is always said that there should be a disciplic succession. We should take a guru who is in disciplic succession. Then it is always said that Lord Krishna is equal to all, but then he is specially inclined towards his devotee. These are the 2 points which is on and off being mentioned in most of the verses. So what is the understanding? Why it is always mentioned that we should be in the parampara, we should have a disciplic succession. What do you think? And why it is said that, and specifically Krishna has inclination towards the devotee, though it is said that samo aham sarva bhuteshu. What is your thoughts about it? Here
The
also
real
it is said that
purpose
the
is
psychologists also, they cannot explain because they are not following that parampara. Yes, Mataji.
the real purpose, as mentioned by Prabhupada in the Bhagavad Gita, is that we all have to go back to Krishna. That is what Krishna is willing. So if we do not follow the parampara, that aim will not be. I mean, we will never be able to go back to Godhead, Mataji. Again, we will be sense
So what is that in that
gratification.
parampara which is helping us to go back?
The real knowledge, Mataji, and the
It's
same way.
unadulterated.
Knowledge is
Mataji.
not.
Yeah, it's not. It's unadulterated. It's as it
Knowledge is
is.
not adulterated.
As it is,
Which
they
is
are
coming
giving
from
Mataji.
Mataji, in the
As Krishna
parampara,
wants.
the knowledge was given from Krishna to Brahmaji to Narad, Narad to Vyasdev to Parikshit Maharaj and Sukdev Goswami, and like that it comes. Then our Madhava Gaudiya parampara, like that it has come. So it is not distorted. It is the same
But
which
then
is
here it is
directly
mentioned
coming.
that over a period of time, the knowledge was lost. And then
So then
again,
Krishna comes again and tells it to Arjun so that we get it
so when
from.
here it is
Same.
said that the knowledge was lost means what do we understand?
So when it
Whether
goes
it
from one person to the other person, the perceptions of that particular person
The
is added,
continuity was lost, Mataji.
and the continuity was, yes, Mataji is right. Yeah.
Mataji, and many started speculating different things.
Yeah, speculation will
that is what it is when it is lost means there was the speculations came into. And then, yeah, when we say this, I heard in one of the lectures by our facilitator, he was telling that the stress is made always, right? We have to be in the parampara. We have to be in the parampara because, yes, as you said, that it is right, the knowledge, because along with the, it is always said, it is without the mercy of the Guru, we cannot progress, isn't it? We have to have the mercy of the Guru, mercy of the devotees. It is because of the mercy of the devotees that we come into this association, and because of the mercy of him, we get a Guru. And so it is said that why the importance is that, right, specifically it is said that, yes, along with the knowledge, it is a mercy, that mercy is coming from one person to the other, and with that mercy, it help us to, that is why it is said that without the mercy of the Guru, without the mercy of the acharyas, we cannot progress. So it is a mercy that is coming down through the disciplic succession, and that is helping us. It is their mercy that they are giving us the knowledge, isn't it? So that mercy will help us. And then it is said that Krishna samo aham sarva bhuteshu, but still he is inclined to the devotees. Why?
They are pleasing him, Mataji, by doing devotional service. They are not trying to do sense gratification and stay here. So they are willing to go back to him,
So that
Mataji.
is how the Lord is reciprocating to their activities, right? He is equal to all, right? We are teaching everyone. In a classroom, also, a teacher teaches everyone. But the child who comes up with the, who is reciprocating with the teaching and comes up with a doubt, the teacher explains more to him and gives the understanding. But the one who is there in the class, he heard, but sitting as if not heard. So that means he's not reciprocal. So, especially is that Lord's reciprocation with his devotees. So we understand that these psychologists who cannot explain exactly the transmigration is because they do not have the mercy. They do not, they lack that, that is their speculation that they are explaining. So the true understanding, so we should take up this understanding from an authorized person and from the authorities like Vedic authority or the Vedic knowledge give, as in Bhagavad Gita, which talks about the transmigration, right? So we are this material life, it is all because of our misuse of that independence, that free will which we have. We all living entities who are falling into this material, we are those marginal entities, who had the choice. We had the potential to do devotional service unto the Lord. But because of the misuse of that free will, that we decided to lord over the things, and that is the reason we fell into this material world. So Prabhupada is telling that spiritual and before this material existence, we were all pure souls. But we are the souls which were in the marginal, they only fell. Those others who are in service with the Lord in the interior of the spiritual world, they will not fall. That is why I say you become conscious so that you will not make misuse of your free will. So then here Prabhupada, he gives the limitations of the psychologists and the modern science, and he is telling about the authority of what we should. Prabhupada always says, read Bhagavad Gita, and that is as it is, which is in Parampara and Srimad Bhagavatam. Don't go to dig into various other books. That is not required for this, and chanting of the holy names. First is chanting. That is what it is said for this Kali Yuga. Okay, so mind binds the soul, but purified by Krishna consciousness, and it becomes the back door to our spiritual life. Prabhupada always says, right? Going directly, that is on your own directly to the spiritual world, it is not possible. I have an entry to the back door. That is through the Guru Parampara, I can take you up to the spiritual world. So we should not lose that opportunity. Further, the 76 and the 77th verse are together. May I request one Mataji to read?
Gopika Mataji, you can read both the verses, and Shobha Mataji, the translation. Rohini Mataji, you can read the purport. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Yatha trina jule kayam nama napayati apayati cha na tyajen mriya manopi pragtehina pitam mitam jana yavat anya navinteta
Vyavadanena karmanam.
Vyavadanena karmanam mana eva manushya yendra bhutanam bhavanam. Thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji, you call my name to read the translation or puppet Mataji?
Yes, Mataji, translation. And
Hari
you can
bol.
read half the puppet also if it is long.
Okay. His Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Prabhupada ki jai. Translation: the caterpillar transports itself from one leaf to another by capturing one leaf before giving up the other. Similarly, according to his previous work, the living entity must capture another body before giving up the one he has. This is because the mind is the reservoir of all kinds of desires. Purport: a living entity is too much absorbed in material activity, becomes very much attracted to the material body. Even at the point of death, he thinks of his present body and the relatives connected to it. Thus, he remains fully absorbed in the bodily conception of life, so much so that even at the point of death, he abhors leaving his present body. Sometimes it is found that a person on a verge of death remains in a coma for many days before giving up the body. This is common among so called leaders and politicians who think that without their presence, the entire country and all society will be in chaos. This is called Maya. Political leaders do not like to leave their political posts, and they either have to be shot by an enemy or obliged to leave by the arrival of death. By superior arrangement, a living entity is offered another body, but because of his attraction to the present body, he does not like to transfer himself to another body. This is forced to accept another body by the law of nature. प्रकृते क्रियमाणानि गुणैकर्माणि सर्वशः अहङ्काराविमूढात्मा कर्ताहम् iti manyate. The bewildered spirit soul, under the influence of the three modes of material nature, thinks himself the doer of activities that are in actuality carried out by nature. Reference Bhagavad Gita Shloka 3.27. Haribol Mataji, thanks for the opportunity. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Sumangala Mataji, can you read the
Hare
remaining
Krishna.
puppet?
Yes, Mataji. Thank you so much, Mataji. Prabhupada ki jai. Material nature is very strong, and the material modes force one to accept another body. This force is visible when the living entity transmigrates from a superior body to an inferior one. One who acts like a dog or hog in the present body will certainly be forced to accept the body of a dog or hog in the next life. A person may be enjoying the body of a prime minister or a president, but when he understands that he will be forced to accept the body of a dog or hog, he chooses not to leave the present body. Therefore, he lies in a coma many days before death. This has been experienced by many politicians at the time of death. The conclusion is that the next body is already determined by superior control. The living entity immediately gives up the present body and enters another. Sometimes in the present body, the living entity feels that many of his desires and imaginations are not fulfilled. Those who are overly attracted to their life situation are forced to remain in a ghostly body and are not allowed to accept another gross body. Even in the body or of a ghost, they create disturbances for neighbors and relatives. The mind is the prime cause of such a situation. According to one's mind, different types of bodies are generated, and one is forced to accept them. As confirmed in Bhagavad Gita 8.6, Yam yam vapi smaran bhavam tyajyantyante kalevaram tam tamevaiti kaudeya sada tad bhava bhavitaha. Whatever state of being one remembers one when he quits his body, the state he will attain without fail. Within one's body and mind, one can think as either a dog or a god, and the next life is offered to him accordingly. This is explained in Bhagavad Gita 13.22. Purusha prakriti stho hi bhungte prakriti प्रकृतिजान् गुणान् कारणं गुणसङ्गोऽस्य सत् असत् योनिश् janmasu. The living entity in material nature thus follows the ways of life, enjoying the three modes of nature. This is due to his association with that material nature. Thus, he meets with good and evil among various species. The living entity may transmigrate to either a superior or inferior body according to his association with the modes of material nature. If he associates with the mode of ignorance, he gets the body of an animal or an inferior man. But if he associates with the mode of goodness or passion, he gets the body accordingly. This is also confirmed in Bhagavad Gita 14.18. Urdhvam gachanti sattvastha madhyam tishtati rajasah ja jaganya gunavrittistha adho gachanti tamasah. Those situated in the mode of goodness gradually go upward to the higher planets. Those in the mode of passion live on the earthly planets, and those in the mode of ignorance go down to the hellish worlds. The root cause of one's association is the mind. This great Krishna consciousness movement is the greatest boon to human society because it is teaching everyone to think always of Krishna by executing devotional service. In this way, at the end of life, one may be transferred to that association of Krishna. This is technically called Nitya Leela Pravishta, entering into the planet Goloka Vrindavana. Bhagavad Gita 18.55 explains Bhaktya mama vijanati yavan yaschasmi tatvatah tato mam tatvato gnatva vishate tat anantaram. One can understand the Supreme Personality as he is only by devotional service. And when one is in full consciousness of the Supreme Lord by such devotion, he can enter into the kingdom of God. After the mind is completely absorbed in Krishna consciousness, one can enter the planet known as Goloka Vrindavana. To enter the association of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, one has to understand Krishna. The process of understanding Krishna is devotional service. After understanding Krishna as he is, one can become eligible to enter Krishna Loka and associate with him. The mind is the cause of such an exalted position. The mind can also get one a body like those of dogs and hogs. To absorb the mind always in Krishna consciousness is therefore the greatest perfection of human life. Hari Om Tat Sat. Thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. Thank you so much. It was a long purport, but it has got a lot of understanding, right? Prabhupada, through each and giving reference from Bhagavad Gita, let authoritative. This is how it is authoritative and why we have to follow. So just as the caterpillar grasped, right, a new leaf before going to the old one. Similarly, we, according to our desire, we will be transferred from one body to the another body. That is why it is said that we have to purify our desire. Then that will decide our next life. So the soul accepts a new body before giving up the present one, just like the caterpillar. Mind filled with desire and attachment determines the next body. Then now here from this verses we can understand like how why there are ghosts, right? Because they are attached to the body. Why people be in coma for a longer time? Because they are attached to that body, attached to that people associated with the body, and they are not ready to leave, and thus they stay in that state of consciousness. So at the time of death, one's consciousness and remembrance decides the future destination through Bhagavad Gita 8.6. Yam yam you know, whatever you think at the time of your death, it decides your next body. Excessive attachment to power, position, family causes resistance to death and may result in coma or ghostly existence. This is what Prabhupada says. So material nature, the mode of goodness, like they said that when you're in a good mode of goodness, the understanding of the scriptures is good, right? When you are in passion, you are engaged in self with all the worldly activities, yeah? Earning money, doing this, helping NGOs, you know, because we consider ourselves to be the Lord. The politicians, they think that without them, that particular country cannot survive. And there are politicians who, rule for years and years together. We see that as Prabhupada has written this so many years back, but that is what we saw in countries like Iraq, now at present Venezuela. What is happening? Right? So these material nature it forces transmigration regardless of one wishes. So association with Sattva, Rajas, Tamasa lead to higher, middle, and the lower birth, as it is said in Bhagavad Gita 14.8. urdhvam gacchati satvastha. You go to higher planets, right? Then madhya, but then if you want to go to Krishna Loka, you have to transcendent all this, right? Madhyam tishtanti rajasaha. You are in this material world because of the passion to lord over. Then gachanya guna vrittista ado gachati tamasa. Below planet, lower planetary system when you are in the mode of tamas. So Krishna conscious is the only way where you can purify, enabling us to remember Krishna always in all the activities we do, and at the time of death, that is our examination, and that will help us to enter to his abode, the abode of the Supreme Lord. So the perfection of life is to fully engage our mind in the service of Krishna, be Krishna consciousness. This is our goal of life, and for that, the devotional service, the process of devotion is given to us. Right? So the understanding here is mind is subtle carrier of our activities, our karma. It is that which carries us from this body to the another body. So we have to train our mind. Death is not random. The next body is already decided. What? Based on your desire. Right? So strong bodily identification creates, that is because we are attached to this body, that is why we have the fear of losing it. Right? So for that, to come out of that fear, we have to adopt Krishna consciousness. Again, Prabhupada has given various examples. Why you get a dog body, why you get a body of a hawk, why are you getting the body of a ghost. So devotional service will train our mind naturally to remember. See, always the process which is given to us, just follow that with faith. Naturally, you will be remembering Krishna when you are doing that, and that will break the cycle of this birth, vicious cycle of this birth and death. Okay, so Prabhupada's intent over here is to shatter that illusion that we are the body. Everything is because of we. Without us, nothing can happen. No. If we go even for one moment, somebody is there coming up, taking over, and things will happen. The life will go on. Nobody is dependent. We are dependent. We should be dependent on Krishna. The free will operates through our consciousness and not through the material control. Control our consciousness so that we desire for the best. Right? So Prabhupada warns us from material attachment because that causes the bondage. Right? So bhakti is only the safe path. Urgency for Krishna consciousness throughout, that will fructify at the time of death. We should put that habit so that at the time of death, in whatever state we are, we will get the remembrance, or Krishna will give us dadami buddhi yogam tam. He will give us the remembrance. So seriously, we should practice this, and so that one may attain Nitya Leela Pravishta, that is the eternal service of Goloka Vrindavan. So this is what we have to understand, that at the time of the death, the soul cannot act independently. It is carried away by this mind. Just like a caterpillar, it grasps a new leaf before leaving the old one. So we have already, because of our desire, already a body has been decided. So we have to purify our desire. Whatever we constantly think, our desire, our identity with that becomes our future destination. So materially absorbed people attached to the body, power, family, position, they have the fear of leaving the present body, and they are forcibly pushed into the material nature, into another form according to the modes they have cultivated. This paya, thinking that I am the controller, while nature decides, prakriti kriyamanani, right? Which is because of our ahankara, we think that we are doer, but everything happens under the modes of material nature. Therefore, human life is extremely serious and very, sacred, I should say, that we should make use of this human life to progress in Krishna consciousness. We have to train our mind. The greatest mercy of Krishna consciousness movement is that it teaches us always to think about Krishna. Right? And through devotional service. When our mind is absorbed in Krishna's remembrance, then naturally at the time of death we will remember we will it automatically from our mouth Krishna will come, right? Instead of like Ajamila, though he was actually born as a Brahmana, but through one Brahman's advice, he named his younger son as Narayana. Though he was not, but because he took the name of the Lord, he got time to purify himself and then go back to Godhead. Not only him, there are so many. There are four kinds of people, at the time. Some for material gain, some for, when they are in distress, some because being inquisitive, and from for knowledge, they inquire about the Lord. No problem, you inquire, but then you have to adopt and follow it. So, fixing the mind in Krishna is not sentiment, it is the highest intelligence and the perfection of our life. So, doing Krishna consciousness, following the instructions of the Guru, when we say that surrender at the lotus feet of the Lord is actually following the instructions of the Guru, the process of devotional service, because only through that method we can at the time of the death, we can remember the Lord. So, in this 4 verses, Narad Muni is explaining to Prachina Bari about what is the subtle body, what is the gross body, and how this subtle body it carries and decides upon our next, what is our next destination. Are we going back or we are going? So for that we have to purify our desire, and that process which is Prabhupada says is Krishna consciousness. So that is all about these 4 verses which has been given. Hari Om Tat Sat. Is there anything y'all would like to add? Your realizations you can also put forward.
Sumangala
Hare
Mataji.
Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Thank you so much for a wonderful class. Sumangala Mataji, want to
Thank you,
ask?
Mataji. Hare Krishna, Mataji. Thank you so much, Mataji. Wonderful class, Mataji, and you have explained it so well, Mataji, so that we can understand the seriousness of Krishna consciousness. Mataji, like these purports, especially Mataji, like how we fall into the lower animal kingdoms, or so with very cautious, Mataji, we have to be. Like Prabhupada always says, no, Mataji, Krishna consciousness is science. So that is
Yeah.
proved in the
Yes,
purports, Mataji.
it
Like
is
we
a
can
science.
understand now.
Yeah.
Thank you,
You
Mataji.
take
Hare
1
Krishna.
step, the Lord will come 10 steps ahead of you. But only matter
Mataji,
is that we
is
have
my
to take up.
understanding correct, Mataji? That mind is the one thing common for both gross and subtle body. So that depending on your mind, everything, your subtle body is getting, created for the next
Desire.
level.
Yeah, and the subtle body is the mind, and that desire which you develop, that will take you to the gross body, the next
How
gross
clean
body.
we keep it, how clean we keep the mind, completely in Krishna consciousness, that is going to save us.
Krishna
So,
consciousness will purify our mind.
yes, Mataji.
Mind will keep on thinking, but that because see, mind is actually it is formed by its agitation with a mode of goodness, right? But it is because of that free will which we desire, and thus it is covered. Our desire gets polluted, and thus the downfall.
For that, intelligence also has to be the proper, because to take
The
up
intelligence, how we get that correct intelligence, that is material intelligence and spiritual intelligence, right? So that you should get that correct intelligence, you should approach the right authority.
the parampara, as we said, no,
Yes.
Mataji. Thank you so much, Mataji. Wonderful class. Hare Krishna.
Yes, Gopika Mata. Hare Krishna. Gopika Mata, you have raised your hand.
Yes, Mataji. Do I read the purport?
To read the purport,
Pardon?
Mataji, that was for reading.
Okay, that was for reading. Okay.
Yes. Hare Krishna.
Anybody
We have
else
no-
and want to share? Can share.
Yeah, we cannot see any raised hands. Mataji, anybody wants to share anything?
Yeah,
Padma Mataji.
Mataji, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna,
Mataji.
Mataji. See, today we understand, sorry, that people go into coma because they don't want to leave the body. Is it right, Mataji?
Because they are
That's the
attached.
reason. Oh, so the attachment only causes
And to
the coma.
fulfill their attachment, they create, disturbance.
Oh, that's why many people go to coma lately. It's all
Yeah,
attachment.
that is why we have to do the Shraddh ceremony for them also, so that they get the liberation.
Yes,
Mataji,
Mataji.
in Srimad Bhagavatam, there are answers for everything, Mataji. I used to think, Mataji, why people are lying in coma? Why can't God help? Like, it is the attachment. So today we learned that, Mataji.
Attachment, yeah,
So,
it is that
and also,
attachment.
Mataji, we also think like, what will happen if we, go, I mean, for our kids if we are not there. Always this thought is there, Mataji, and we are always in
Yeah,
the false
that is
ego. Like,
emotions are there, no Mataji. That emotions cannot be, then we'll become stone-hearted. But that emotion is there, but then that should not come. But then the understanding should also be there.
Mataji, how
Right?
to understand that, Mataji? When you said that emotions are there, so as a mother, it is a natural feeling. So to think
Yeah,
about
so
that.
as a mother, it is a natural feeling. So as a mother, it becomes our duty to elevate our child. When the child is Krishna consciousness, when he understands things, when he is able to take the good decision, then we are also, yeah, even if I'm not there, I know that my child will be on the right path. He is on the right path.
And
So,
always to trust the mercy of the Lord. And
yeah.
is it that okay, Mataji, like that? Depending on
Yes,
the
we
Lord.
have to engage them in Krishna consciousness. That is the only way. That will help them, even when we are not there, that will help them to take the right decision.
Thank you,
That
Mataji.
association, even if something happened, there is people around who are there to help him. So we have to create that rather than having a lot of bank balance and property, you know. But
Yes,
rather than
Mataji.
guiding them and getting them a guru and association, that is more important.
For that, we need to take necessary steps, no, Mataji, for
Yes,
them to be
Mataji, that
Krishna
is why
consciousness. That's the must.
at a very young age, start sending them to Krishna classes. Let them hear about Krishna. Let them, rather than the other activities. So they can discriminate between good and bad, Mataji. The main thing is that.
Mataji, thank you
If
so
they
much.
have the right discrimination, then what is the fear? Don't we send our children outside to study and all, right?
Yes, Mataji.
So we cannot say that no, without us, what will happen, how they will survive. For their good, we are. But when we know that, yeah, they are good enough to take that right decision, that fear is also not there. Hare Krishna.
Hare
Mataji?
Krishna Mataji.
Yeah,
On the
okay, okay, go ahead.
Sukila Mataji was asking a question on the coma. On that, I want to ask a question, Mataji. Mataji, you said that, coma because there's still an attachment to the. But what about children, Mataji? Like children as young as like 8 years, 10 years old are in coma, but they actually don't have this knowledge also. In that situation, how to understand, Mataji?
No,
What is the
Mataji, that
attachment
feeling
like?
is there. They do not have knowledge of the spiritual activity, but that feeling is there, no? As a small child is so much dependent on his mother, that small children they are totally dependent on the parents. See, this is what Prabhupada is written over here. It is all because of the attachment. So when we looked into it, yes, as a small child, anything happens, first thing they call out for the parents, right? So that attachment will be there, no? My mother, my parent.
Okay. Okay, Mataji. Yeah, thank you, Mataji.
Mataji,
Not
now
only that,
some
Mataji, in 15th chapter, Shariram Yadavapnoti, this old things will come as vasanas, even from previous lives. So that also will
Ah,
give something. Echa Pratkamateswara, Gruhitaitan Samyat, Vair Gandhani Vashyat.
In the previous
So,
life.
yes.
subtle body will be carrying even earlier
The impressions.
record.
It is a subtle body that it carries all the impressions and all the thinking, feeling, everything is
Though it is a
carried by
child
the subtle
now,
body.
it must be carrying a old life's recordings.
Which he needs to be. This is, see, when it is said that, yeah, because of the attachment, that attachment can be any Mataji. Maybe this, that, we do not know. But yes, there is attachment. Because of that attachment, irrespective, he is there in that state. That is the understanding which, because if you go to try to understand in depth of it, it is very difficult, because we do not know after how many births we have got this body, what is the thinking of that particular person. But yes, one common understanding should be there, that there is some attachment because of which he is not living that body and he is lying in that state.
But Mataji, now some people go into coma for 1 month, some go for 1 week, some go for so many, maybe 1 year, 6 months. So does that mean, so ultimately when they leave the body, that means the attachment is gone?
Yeah,
when they leave the
maybe.
body?
Maybe, Mataji. When
So
you
it's little
try for
complicated,
certain
no?
things for a longer time, and when you do not get it, you just give up, right?
Mm.
Or maybe when the body, when the senses are no longer, there are some who come as that is also seen that there is ghost also. When they leave the body, then they come back. When it is not fulfilled, they come as ghost. It all depends upon at what was your consciousness at that state. Either you go, you take up another body based on your impression, or else you come as ghost. That is what Prabhupada is saying in this purport.
Yes, Mataji, best is not to get attached to anything, not even the family.
So yeah,
That's the
so
best.
that's what it is said, that based on the attachment, anything can happen.
Yeah.
So better
That's what
is,
they say, no, Mataji, different births, you get different parents, different associates, different brothers, sisters. So if you think like that, you cultivate your mind that way, then you think this birth, I've got these people again. So that way you can, train your
even
mind.
the children who are born to us, it is not by chance. It is, they say, some rina is there to,
Yes, Mataji.
in some depth is there. To overcome that depth, a person is born as a child for a particular person, to a particular parent. So this is a science. We understand that we should, our takeaway point is that yes, attachment is not good, all this is temporary, otherwise there is this cycle is there. We, if you go into the technicality, we will not understand because we are moda, right? So it is, one thing is very clear: surrender to the instructions of the guru. Let us come out of this, because this is not a permanent place for us. We have to go back to our original destination.
Yes, Mataji, we must have deep understanding. We have to work towards it, Mataji.
Yeah, because understanding the technicality, like for even this is so, if for that this is anyway spiritual, but even we are as a profession, I am in a medical profession, but if I go to some technical part, trying to understand this computer, what is it, what the parts, this, it is very difficult. So what to think, what to say about that birth and death, which is inconceivable.
Yes, Mataji.
Hmm.
Very nice class today, Mataji.
Focus, we should have one point focus. Vyavasayatmika buddhi, eke kuru nandar. Having that, we have to progress.
Yes, Mataji, very nice class today.
Thank you,
Thank you
Mataji.
so
Thank
much,
you.
Hare Krishna.
Mataji.
Thank you so much, Mataji.
Thank you,
Wonderful
Mataji.
class, Mataji. Yeah, Vansha kalpatarubhyascha kripavaccha patitanam अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय ग्रंथराज श्रीमद श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय Hare Krishna. Mataji, can I end the class?
Thank you, Mataji. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Thank you
Hare
so much,
Bol.
Mataji. Hare Krishna. Hare Bol.
Wishing
Hare
you all a
Krishna
very
to
happy
all
New Year in
devotees.
Krishna consciousness. My first class in this
Yes,
year.
Mataji. Wish you the same.
Wish you the same, Mataji.
Hare Krishna.